So about a half hour ago. Yeah, about a little more than a half hour ago. I was pulling out of my neighborhood, and hey, some fun, some fun. Okay, so these are the roads, right? So this is the main road right here. This is where I come out. So I'm here. There's over here. There's a like a turn lane, and there's some cars in that turn lane, and there's a light. Right now, it's red this way, or yeah, and green this way. And over here, there's also some cars in this turn lane. Otherwise, it's pretty dead. Okay? So, I want to turn onto this street here, over here. So, I check, there's nothing. The light is about to change, so I know that these guys are going to start going. These guys are going to have to wait because the light's about to change, and like a car just passed the light. I don't think he's probably not going to have time, but if he does, really this isn't my concern because he's not going to cross where I'm going to be going, right? He should be going this way, and I go this way, right? So there's no, I don't have to worry about this guy very much, right? Okay, so I decide, okay, it's safe, it's time to go. Light's about to change. Pretty much what'll happen is I'll go, the light will change, and then they'll come in behind me just maybe a few car lengths back. Pretty much that's what's going to happen here. So I go ahead and I start making my turn, and I'm most of the way out when this dude decides, oh, you know what? I want to go straight. And the light just turned yellow. So what I'm going to do in my black C7 Corvette, I'm going to just punch it and cut out in front of this guy that's turning here. So he should take this arc here because he's turning. He's already committed. He's in the turn lane. He's the first car there. If he's gonna do anything, he should make this turn. If he needs to go this way, what he should do is there's space back here where you can do a U-turn, like almost immediately, right? So what he should do is fix it correctly. Get back up in here, and you know he's gonna be slightly slower, a little bit behind by about a minute and a half. Oh my God! But that's not what he decides to do. What he decides to do is the joys of having your camera mounted on a hammer. It's not stable. Okay. What he actually decides to do is this. He zooms in front of me. Almost hits my ass. And my car is distinctive, just like his car is. Because how many black C7 Corvettes exist on the road that you see all the time? It's not a super common car. And mine is even more distinctive because it's a two-tone Volvo. How many two-tone Volvos have you ever fucking seen? Like, come on now. Like, from the 70s. My car stands out. His car stands out. I know damn well what he just did. He knows damn well what he just did. He knows damn well who he just did it to. And it's my very distinctive ass. Okay? So, we carry on down the road. It's one lane for a while, and then it splits off into three. And because I suspected by what he did here that he's not a very good driver. That was later confirmed by watching how he handled the various stoplights that came up along the way. Because there's a stoplight every like mile and a half ish. It's slightly more than per mile, but it's maybe 2 miles, something like that. But there's also not much out there. It's just kind of like empty ass land. So unless you live in one of the little residential areas that's kind of like pulls off the road, you're going straight. And if you're going straight, you don't have a choice but to, on average, go the speed limit because the stoplights will stop your ass. You go 80, that's fine. You're just going to sit there for the entire duration of the stoplight. You go 45, and hey, you don't have to stop for the stoplight because as soon as you start pulling up to the stoplight, it turns green. So it doesn't matter. His, his driving style, which is all about straight line speed, doesn't give him any advantages here. He can't actually escape me. So at the first stoplight, I end up like right next to him. Or no, I actually end up in front of him because he got his ass caught behind another car. Yeah, so it was like a truck, and he's behind it, and I actually pulled up here, and then it went green, so I didn't even actually have to stop completely, so I continued having some momentum to carry forward, and so it took him a second to get around me, and as he did, I kind of glared at him out the side window, like poke my head out very slightly. Just kind of conspicuous because I wear a big cowboy hat, so, yeah, you got this distinctive looking car. The dude pokes out his head with a big cowboy hat and Morpheus sunglasses and just glares at you. You're probably going to notice that. So we come up to the next light, and like he was in front of me. He did manage to get in front of me after this. So, but at some point, I actually ended up getting like right next to him, right before the light, and then he kind of like we stop at the light, and he's back like half of a car length. So I just kind of like peer out, or like kind of lean out of the car a little bit, and I just stare at him, and he gives me this dumb this dumb look that boomers like to give, where like they just have this glazed over look of innocence, like, how could I possibly have done anything wrong? What are you talking about? What? The light turns, and he's like half a car length behind me, and he just like peels out and tries to get out in front of me, and he does. He succeeds in getting out in front of me, but I need to actually get in the lane that he's in and then turn. Keep in mind, this is surface streets, right? So the left lane is not actually the passing lane because these are surface streets. He's trying to treat this, because he's such a terrible driver, he's trying to treat this 3-lane road as if it operates like a freeway. It's not a freeway. You have residential housing complexes and stuff off all over the place. You have stoplights every couple miles. And you have left and right turns all everywhere, like all along. It's a surface street. The left lane on a surface street like this is not a passing lane. Honestly, in this situation, the best lane for passing is the center lane, because it's the one that's not encumbered with slow traffic trying to turn off all the time. Or it's the least encumbered. But he's an idiot, and he's trying to treat the left lane as the passing lane, and he's an idiot, so he thinks that his straight line speed is all there is to driving. Also, he's a boomer, so he doesn't recognize that other people exist. So, I actually want him to pass me, because I need to get over. If he's going to stay in my blind spot, that would be terrible, because now I can't turn. Now I can't change lanes, right? I want him to pass me, okay? So, also, he can easily pass me. He's far faster than me. His acceleration is ridiculously better than mine. Yeah, so I let, of course I let him pass me. And then I get in that lane, and then I get up to like making my turn, and he's actually making the same turn right in front of me, coincidentally. I'm like, oh, I wonder if I'll end up right behind him, because there's two turn lanes. So there's other cars at this point. There's a few cars between us that are turning in here, so it's not obvious that I'm going to end up behind him at all. But I do end up immediately behind him, and he's taking the turn really slowly. He's like riding his brakes through this turn, and I'm like, wow, what the fuck? And I'm actually just coasting through this turn, and I'm making it faster and tighter than he is. So, terrible driver. He doesn't know how to drive his car. And, like, I'm... this isn't, like, illegal speeds. We're going, like, 12. Like, come on. You can't pilot your car at, like, 12 miles an hour? Are you fucking serious? So, I think in this moment, what ends up happening... So, this is fact. What ends up happening is because I'm following the dotted line for the turn. You know, it's like there's like a dotted line like this that comes. Right? I'm following it quite tightly. So like my tires are like just inside. Like I'm in the lane, but you know, I'm taking it pretty tight. He's like way the fuck out here going slower. So, yeah. Just geometrically, I have an advantage. But also speed-wise, because he's afraid of understeer? I'm not sure. So, I end up getting, like, really close to him. Because he's just being so lethargic through this turn. And then he ends up getting caught behind another car in front of him. And he's, like, riding its ass. He's clearly trying to get the hell away from me. And I just find this funny as shit, because clearly the dude does not know how to drive, does not have any respect for other people, does not have respect for traffic laws. He's just a dick. And he kind of he put himself into this situation where he's getting owned accidentally. It's like, I'm just driving normally, because I know how to take a corner in my car. And he only knows straight line speed in his Plastic Fantastic. What the fuck? And he's, you know, like, what, 70? Like, you in your entire life you didn't learn how to ever drive? Like, your generation is the generation that had all the advantages as far as this industry, right? You got the good cars, you had the money, you had the opportunity, it was a huge part of the culture. Like, you know, Star Wars. The main reason that Star Wars is such a pop culture icon is because the starships are allegories to car culture. You're from this generation. You're the same age, pretty much, as fucking... What's his face? George Lucas. Like, you don't know how to drive? What the fuck? And you have, like, this cheap supercar-ish? It's a Corvette. It's certainly a powerful car. Yeah. It's a more competent car than this guy can handle, for sure. It's probably a more competent car than I can handle. But, holy fuck. This was just entertaining. And then the whole way up to my destination, he was going further. So I think he thought I was following him, which to me is just hilarious because, one, I wasn't. Two, he's the one that caused the problem that would cause him to be paranoid. The way he was driving, I'm fairly confident he was paranoid. What the fuck? It was entertaining. Don't drive like this. If you're in the turn lane, if you're in the turn lane, I don't care if there's another car here or not. If you're in that turn lane, go ahead and make that turn. You realize you want to go straight, figure out a way to correct that legally. This is not okay. This is some bullshit.